era. Aaron Rodgers beginning his 21st season in the NFL as Steelers training camp begins today. Pittsburgh seemingly all in with the soon-to-be 42-year-old quarterback with a goal, at least in the first place, of winning their first playoff game since 2016. And she has been a long-standing regular on this program. She's about to become a lot more regular. She is our Steelers reporter, Brooke Pryor, who joins us live now from Steelers camp. All right, so take us right to the moment there. Rodgers showing up today, training camp. What does everybody need to know?
Well, Greeny, Rodgers will be here in about an hour. I've got my pillow ready for move-in at these dorms. I'm sure Rodgers will have one also. I'm told that players even have an option if they would like to upgrade their mattresses from the standard Twin XL. That is an option, but I just caught up with a coach as he was walking around getting his morning workout in, and he called this a slice of football heaven. We are in Latrobe at St. Vincent College, where the Steelers have had training camp here for nearly 60 years. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, is not unfamiliar with going away to training camp. When he was with the Packers, they went away to St. Norbert College, so he's familiar with this setup. Once they move in, they'll have some team meetings, and then tonight is the conditioning test. And let me take you back to a year ago when Russell Wilson injured his calf on that field right behind me, pushing a sled in the conditioning test. We asked Mike Tomlin if they would be reprising that part of the conditioning test, and he said, I'll have to let you know. He wasn't going to tip his hand on what these players are going to see later tonight.
And so, Brooke, I was looking through your notes earlier this morning, and the thing that struck me was the reaction of the populace. I'm in New York, I'm a Jet fan, and when Aaron came to the Jets, we lost our minds. We were talking Super Bowl and all that sort of thing. What has the reaction of the fan base so far been in Pittsburgh?
The Yinzers are maybe a little less excited. They're losing their minds, but for other reasons. I can tell you that I've had some people say that they're excited. What do the Steelers have to lose? Might as well try Aaron Rodgers. I've got other fans, some friends of mine who are season ticket holders. They said they're not going to go to a game if Aaron Rodgers is the starter. I had another fan at an ice cream shop tell me that she hopes that Aaron Rodgers is on the bench by week 3 and that Mason Rudolph is taking over. I don't know if you could believe that just a couple years ago that fans would be praying for Mason Rudolph. But the reaction that I'm most interested to learn about is how Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers will work together. Because a year ago, a lot of the tension late in the season was that Arthur Smith was not giving Russell Wilson full control at the line of scrimmage. As we know, Aaron Rodgers throughout his career has wanted to take over control at the line of scrimmage. He's kind of demanded that freedom. He was asked about that during minicamp, and he said, I don't know where that narrative take over as I see fit comes from. He said that he's called 2-minute periods throughout his career, and he trusts Arthur Smith to call the plays that needed to be called, and that Aaron Rodgers can run the plays the way Arthur Smith wants them to be called. He said he expects that they would have conversations throughout the summer, get on the same page, and we'll see later this week just how much on the same page they really are.
All right, Brooke, we'll be checking in with you regularly, so be prepared for that. So earlier this week, Andrew Hawkins, sitting over there, said Aaron is walking into the situation we thought he was walking into with the Jets, which means a team that's kind of ready to do something and just needs a quarterback. As it turns out, the Jets were the worst possible situation for him because they played into everything about him that probably isn't his strongest suits at this point in his career. Yeah. The Steelers are actually that. Is this team ready to do something that person in the ice cream shop isn't convinced they're ready to do?
Yeah, I think, well, let's put it this way. I think the situation sets up for Aaron to kind of show the best that he's got at this point in his career. I do believe that, simply because it's going to allow him to focus on what he does best, which is not picking players, which is not picking offensive coordinators, is just quarterbacking the football team. And that's all Mike wants him to do. And that's really, quite honestly, all that Arthur is going to want him to do. And I think when he does, we said, I think it was like maybe back in February or March, we had a show, and I remember thinking and I said, quote, these two entities need one another.
Yes.
Pittsburgh needs a guy like Aaron. Aaron needs Mike Tomlin. They have a lot of mutual respect for one another. I do think they can be potentially an 11-win season and one up in terms of the wins from a year ago. And I think they can be a divisional round participant in the playoffs. I do think that. A lot of that, again, is going to go back to the same things we talk about all the time. Offensive line play, explosive play on the outside, defensive. Offensive line play is going to be huge, though, in this case, for sure, with Aaron.
I'm surprised young Andrew Hawkins thought that this is the situation that he was walking to with the Jets because it's completely different.
No, meaning this is the situation we thought the Jets would be. The Jets turned out to be nothing near what we thought they were going. We thought that they were a quarterback away from being special, and it turned out they had a lot of other problems. This team, maybe, with a professional quarterback, Rodgers, albeit older, is much closer than those Jets were. Certainly better coach.
Let's be clear. This is a better situation for Aaron Rodgers from the standpoint of it won't be his show. But that's exactly what we expected it to be in New York.
Right.
His entire show, him building the culture, him taking these young kids on the ride with him to glory, if Jets fans thought they were going to win a Super Bowl. In Pittsburgh, this is Mike Tomlin's team. It is run the way he wants it to be run. I think now they have a quarterback who has the experience. He's a savvy vet. Like, he may not be the same physical Aaron Rodgers that have the same physical attributes, but he will be healthier. You know, last year he was just coming off the Achilles. Now a year removed from last season, I think he'll be healthier. But really, I think the most important thing Brooke said and all that was the connection with Arthur Smith and what this offense will actually look like. Because we've been watching the Steelers offense for a long time wondering, what is it? And we still don't know.
The question is he going to be able to make 3 or 4 plays a game, like really good plays, which is different than what you are asking of him normally. There is no chance that the Steelers are not going to be in most of the games that they play in. They always are. The difference in those games is they play a lot of teams that have players or quarterbacks that can make the 1, 2, 3, 4 plays that you need in a game to get you over the top. I believe that Aaron Rodgers, even at this age, can make those plays. So I am optimistic, more optimistic for this situation than things look for the Jets.
And you saw glimpses of it at the end of last year.
Yes.
You saw, I believe it was it the Jacksonville game?
Yes.
Okay, where him and Devontae were hooking up pretty good. You saw it, right?
You remember that fondly? Yes.
I'm telling you, Rodgers was better than his numbers last year. Every advanced metric says Aaron Rodgers played terribly last season. My eyes told me otherwise. I'm not trying to fight with the numbers. The numbers are what they are. He was better than the numbers would suggest. They're going to have a good year. And if he's healthy, and that's a big if for a guy who's going to be 42, the Steelers are going to be way better than people think. Coming up, bear down. Caleb and his coaches have lofty goals, but are they even reasonably realistic? You got to hear what they are and the one thing he must fix to have a chance to achieve them. Plus, this is Lewis's least favorite part of the show.
You know why? Because it stresses me.
He does not like the trivia. We got this one from Alex today. All right, in the Super Bowl era, there's only one quarterback who completed 70% of his passes in his second season. Who do we think that was? The answer is next.
Oh, come on.
Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn mọi người móc một chiếc máy ảnh mang từ và ở đây nguyên liệu có là dây sợi và móc và bắt đầu mọi người mình bắt đầu thực hiện nhé. Và tại đây mình sẽ bắt đầu thực hiện tạo lên như sau. Mọi người sẽ lấy lên cho mình. Ở đây mình sẽ sử dụng vào lên một tí. Mọi người sẽ tạo vào đây cho mình là